This is Judy Musgraves. Judy Musgraves is a retired teacher and principal at Centralia Schools. Centralia, Missouri is a community north of Columbia, Missouri. Judy, can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Well, I was a elementary teacher at a school district called Hallsville, Missouri, which is north of Columbia, and then later a teacher at Centralia Schools. Total years for a teacher 11, and then I was an elementary principal for 16 years. Also, I was an active participant in the Northeast District, which was predominantly rural in Missouri with the Principals Association.
Very good, thank you, Judy. Now, can you tell us about how far you travel to get to your primary physician?
Well, our community, we're lucky enough to just be 20 miles north of Columbia, so I would, I could be with my provider for within 20 minutes, and that's in a rather extensive medical community in Columbia. However, we're on the southern end of the, like I said, the Northeast District, which is predominantly fairly rural.
Thank you. And then can you tell me how far your primary pharmacy is from you?
The one I use is about 20 minutes.
20 minutes. All right. So, can you tell us a little bit about some rural health concerns that you observed during your time?
Well, what I observed, and in my understanding and visiting with a lot of principals since I have retired, is that the same problem has become increasingly more of a problem. We noticed that children 20 years ago were becoming more lethargic, obese. Their nutrition habits were not very good, and from the time that I started teaching back in the 70s. Also, we noticed that when kids would go home, they wouldn't be as active. They would play video games, and they just weren't getting the exercise, even though we put in programs to provide for that. And then my understanding from districts that were north of us, like I said, that were more a rural community, they were all experiencing the same thing. The increase of the children's weight and the being more lethargic. Now, in addition to that, something else that maybe was not as much a problem in our community, but I think the farther you would get away from providers would be dental health. Children, my understanding from our local dentist was that he saw an increasing amount of, by the time they were in high school, of some really bad teeth, and he put it toward the soda intake, the sugar intake. And of course, you know, with the drug usage and everything, you also have meth mouth and that type of thing, which we didn't see, obviously, maybe in children. But the dental health was definitely becoming more of a problem. And I think that has to all tied with the diet that the kids are exposed to.
Yeah.